And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the FSL ARM tournament for the Philippines. We're just going to jump right into champion select. Well, draft. We're not really selecting anything, but yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it on your screen right now, but we have jumped into draft.
They certainly can see it on their screen, as we do have the Fizz, Vi, Nami, Zinzao, and Galio, the purported strongest champion in ARAM, taking on Nasus,
Hey!
Cho, Lysandra, returning home, Irelia, and Yorick. There's not a lot of range in these teams.
Nope. It's going to be an all-out brawl, I think, and you do have a lot of AoE on both sides. We were talking about basically how broken the Galio is with the taunt and the ultimate, but if you do take a look on the other side, you do have a lot of AoE as well. You got a Cho'Gath knockup, you got the Lysandra ultimate, and you do have Nasus E potentially if Nasus decides to go AP. Well, full AP this time, no Trinity Force shenanigans, hopefully, in this game.
Hopefully. So, I mean, immediately, we did talk about the Galio earlier. That is not Lars. That was the Evelyn from our last game on that one.
Mhm.
Seemed like a pretty decent mechanical player, though Evelyn struggled to get much done. That was more because it was...
She doesn't have to hide this time.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely not. Now, you said that you believe that Galio is the strongest champion in ARAM, and the statistics back you up. A 2% lead over the second most powerful champion.
Unverified. I will check that before we get in the next game.
Let's just roll with it.
Because I don't want to lie. All right?
Let's roll with it. It's probably true. That's pretty intense.
It is. Like, it's like 60 something percent, so it's actually pretty busted.
That's pretty nuts. And I think overall, this blue side comp is a little bit stronger. It's hard. Like, Yorick on Summoner's Rift doesn't want to go to team fights.
Yeah.
And there's no side lane in ARAM. So this is a bit of a roughie for the
Yorick's not going to be doing much unless he has the Maiden of the Mist on the Abyss.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing there is I think it's just going to get sniped off. Like all the time.
Well, you say sniped. Blue team doesn't really have any sniping options.
Well, that is true.
Their roster.
True. The unfortunate thing is that Maiden of the Mist, I play a fair bit of Yorick, and it's very annoying sometimes because it wants to kill minions, and you have to walk very far away from it to convince it, like, no, come with me. And there's not really, can't walk that far on the Howling Abyss, unless you're just like, I'm just going to go, like, so far away that we can't team fight.
Are you saying that Yorick is Evelyn?
A little bit.
Yorick is Evelyn,
without the damage. That's the Rage Cage could do a fair bit. Stop Galio for a little bit, potentially. But we'll have to continue our discussion in just a little bit, as we will be going to the little bit of a break to get rid of the last bit of the spectator delay. We'll see you guys in game.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome back onto the Howling Abyss. We are now 30 seconds into the game, and yeah, not much action to talk about so far. I'm not exactly sure if the black bar issue is fixed, but yeah, we are just going to jump right into it. Unlucky.
We are doing our best. It's a very strange issue that OBS really doesn't want to fix, but I'm doing what I can. Regardless, it's not a huge issue. Despite that, but we do have an immediate fight here. Rogue only going forward on the Nasus, hits that Wither. Can he get out? No, she definitely can't. That is a very early first blood here for the blue team. That Nasus was going on a journey.
Hey, Nasus dying seems to be the theme of the game today.
Also, I'd like to bring your attention to the sheen in the Nasus inventory, which I do not believe builds into an AP.
No. Well, it's still better than going. It's still better than going AP into Triforce, so I'll give it that.
That's true. If you're gonna go normal Nasus, just go normal Nasus. There's nothing wrong with it, even though it's potentially not quite as strong on the Howling Abyss. Relia does get a good double stun, but here comes the re-engage. There's a huge stun there by the Galio. The taunt hit 3. Kawaii Sonar not going to get this one. No, can't get anything done. Nasus will get one back, but it's Fizz with the double kill. And then Nasus goes down to the Zinzao. And
yeah, basically,
not a good start.
You just got yourself a little. Yeah, you got yourself a little taste of why the Galio is so busted. He just throws himself at you, stuns up. Basically stuns up like half your team, and there's nothing you can do about it.
there is nothing. You are
Yeah.
just pretty much straight up dead when that happens. That taunt is very, very big on the Howling Abyss, and with that snowball, it's very hard to stop the Galio getting in. Looking forward to team fights where Galio has his ult. That circle is for the heroic entrance is very big on the Howling Abyss. See if they can contain this. But here's another engage. Lissandra goes very, very low, flashing away. Galio chummins up that taunt and gets two into the Nami bubble. Lissandra dies there on the side. Can they find anything more? I don't think they will. Oh, yes, they will. I tell a lie. As Reverie on the Nami throws herself forward.
Yeah, that was a good shockwave punch coming in from the Vi to pick up the kill onto the Lissandra. Not exactly was it Lissandra? I think it was Lissandra. I'm not exactly sure how Cho'Gath died at the back of that fight. But it's just so difficult to basically resist and engage coming in from blue team right now. They have so many tools to get in, and that's not even counting the Galio. Like you saw in that previous fight, Xin Zhao basically threw himself into red team as well. And as long as his team is there to back him up or her up, I'm not sure how we're referring to it this game, but yeah, it's very difficult for red team basically to survive in these early fights.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very tricky. And of course, we haven't even seen a fight with the Nami wave. And as we say it, it happens. Look at the CC. What the hell do you do against a Fizz ult, the Galio ult, and the Nami ult here? It's absolutely brutal. Kawaii Sona is going to get something done. We'll pick up the kill onto Vi. But the rest of them... Oh, no. This is actually the blue team getting taken out. They had a good engage, but they haven't had a reset, so they didn't have items. They really
that's just the issue. Like they had all the CC in the world. If they had items, red team should have died. They would not be alive right now. But the unfortunate thing is, well, it's not unfortunate. They're gonna get the reset now, so they'll have that damage coming into the next few fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And they lose a little bit of damage on their tower, but it's not that bad. And as we see, the Maiden of the Mist. Look how far away Yorick was, but his wife decided they really wanted to suck on that tower. So that is now Yorick without his dueling power.
I think Yorick actually just released her at that point. Yeah, You're not going to be that far away.
Yeah, I actually think so. As soon as I started saying it, I was like, she's probably a star. I don't think that's correct, personally, but I think it's what happened.
Yeah.
You do see these teams returning to a bit of parity. Both teams have had a reset. They've got components. Full item completed for Fizz has got that Ludens. Xin Zhao looking towards a Triforce. Nami actually didn't die. So
yeah,
she hasn't got
She's
her
a CC bot.
It's true. She is just.
Now I'm starting to think 4 rabbit on Nami.
The wave hits. The wave felt around the world.
Oh man. Alright, we're gonna see red team starting to push up. I do think they have a bit more of a ability to clear wave clear well, especially with the
there's an engage. What was that? That was a very strange one. The snowball into the immediate self ult from Lissandra. Not last threw herself in on that Galio. Did a bit of CC, but does go down. There's a Nami wave, and now the blue team CC is taking over, but they haven't got this Irelia, who can definitely take fights over, but can't this time, because before you go on this Fizz is dealing an absolutely disgusting amount of damage. And it's only 2 members of the red team left. And the tower under threat. But Rai wants to make it only 1 left, as it is only the Yorick. And he will go down to the Fizz. Now the blue team take a couple of resets. Unfortunate there. They can't push the tower. Maybe should have reset after dealing some tower damage. But they didn't really have time.
Yeah, that ain't it. I'm not sure what that engage coming from Lissandra was like. Let's go, guys. And goes in. Team is nowhere to be found. Just super unfortunate. Tries to back away, but ends up getting the entire team killed as well. The only positive coming out of that was the tower dive, because red team did manage to pick up a couple kills off the back of it, solely due to that tower.
Absolutely. That is sort of the nature of the ARAM at times, where a fight will go heavily one way, but until you're actually getting structure damage, it doesn't matter that much, because the gold ends up ping-ponging because you want your reset. You very rarely have time to wait long enough to get an execute on the tower. See what these teams want to be doing, as this Fizz is absolutely terrifying, by the way.
Yeah, the not I can't recall the ultimate name. Let's call it the ultimate. The
Chum the
Fizz ultimate.
waters. Chum the waters.
Chum the Wars. That's it. Is so threatening. You can see that she is just positioning up forward and threatening to pull the ultimate on anyone who steps into range. Have to be very careful if you're red team right now, just continuing to push towards the turret, but that does mean you are a little overextended, and we have already discussed blue team very
Ooh,
good at engaging. They're
here's the
showing that right now.
engage. Vi going forward. The Yorick cage holding things back for now. This is something we haven't even really talked about, is the Vi. Obviously, she adds a huge amount of engage with the Q and the assault and battery. Once the blue team decides to go, the red team can't get away. There's no disengage here.
Yeah, that's sort of my bad because in the previous few fights we have actually seen the engages coming in from the Vi. So when she wants to get going, she goes. I mean, you take a look at blue team's composition. We've already brought this up. They want to engage. They go for it and they stick to you, like you said. Once they go in, red team's not getting out.
Absolutely. And it is just this little poke here from Hashijo on the Vi. Very smart. They're using the shield. A lot of damage. Can they get the Vault Breaker? That third auto attack? No, not quite. They will get caught here. Have to flash as a bubble lands on Yorick. The wave used as well for disengage. A little bit of an overreach here by Vi.
Yeah, especially this early on, the Nami wave does take a little bit more time to recharge, so that is going to be a crucial cooldown that they are not going to have. Obviously, they still have a ton more CC, but the wave is actually pretty crucial in these fights, I think.
Absolutely, I think so. It's particularly to lock down this Irelia, who otherwise will just be dancing around the fight. And very difficult to stop, even with things like the Galio and the Xin Zhao. And ooh, there's the Vi going forward again, dealing a lot of damage, but does get caught in the flawless duet. This is the follow-up into the Galio ult. This Yorick does not have much chance at all. He goes down immediately. There's the Vanguard's Edge trying to get something done, but the health bars for the red team are looking a little bit pale. As actually, no, they got out there. That's very surprising, but no, now the second wave of the fight will happen. The shutdown on the Lissandra, a 2-for-1. I thought that was going much worse for the red team, but they managed to play that very well.
Yeah, they basically just blue team just basically walked away and say, if you're not gonna try to take us out right now, we're just gonna wait for our cooldowns to come back up before jumping back in, and that's exactly what they did. Picked up another kill. But one thing I do want to bring to attention is the fact that Lissandra right now is actually pretty strong. Because if you did see in the previous fight, the passive with the ice ghouls basically did
Frozen
quite a bit of work.
Frauds.
Close enough on the blue team.
I've spent too much time reading tooltips, and I will show it off at every opportunity. As I think Rogue only going for the reset there. Looked like a bit of negative gaming, but I assure you that was intentional. No big problem there. Very smart as well from the red team. Send one of you to do that because they can't do anything. It's a 4v5, but it's only a 4v. You can just clear the waves.
The fear there is that if they did not communicate that properly, and Red just basically said, "Our Narcissus is dying, let's jump in," and they all end up dying. Fortunately, that didn't happen. I think sometimes we see that, so it's very nice to see communication coming through on the side of Red this time.
Absolutely, I think that was very well communicated. Just, hey, I'm gonna int. Don't worry, don't report me. All very intentional. And now we're just back to clearing waves. The ping-ponging of the waves. We are watching the NALCS. We've come back for a show, Matt. Say clearing waves in mid for 45 minutes.
Is there a quota? I think we flamed NA the previous time as well.
It's too easy. Here is the engage. Xin Zhao charging forward, but gets locked up by so much CC. Pops the ult, doesn't take damage from downtown. And not Lars on this Galio, trying to get it all done. There is the first kill onto the Lissandra, but the blue team health bars are not very high. This Nasus could get a lot done, and absolutely is. This is the red team going absolutely nuts, and it's a 2-for-5. Red team heavily coming out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. Props to the Lissandra once again. Very strong in the current moment for being able to distract the blue team for basically half the fight. I think half of blue team were trying to kill her and just standing around her instead of doing damage onto the remainder of red team. So great props to the Lissandra being played very well in a very strong position.
Absolutely. It's very, very impressive. Just so far out of the entire red team, we have been saying that blue team has a very, very powerful comp. And that's still true, don't get me wrong. But I think the red team has been playing their comp just a little bit better. As you said there, the great engage from the blue team is wasted when 3 of your members are standing around waiting to kill a Lysandra, and 2 of your members are just dying in the backline. It needs to be much more synced up.
Yeah, it all comes down, I think, to communication for the blue team. They're not really communicating who they want to target to each other properly. And they have to continue, they have to be able to do that in the upcoming fights. If not, once again, they're just going to stand around, wait for Lysandra to come out of the ultimate. And it's just not the best use of your time.
No, absolutely not. The Lysandra with the self ultimate is just incredibly safe. And here is the engage. The snowballs from downtown. There is the Lysandra with the self-ult. That Nami wave hitting a lot. Unfortunately, the follow-up CC wasn't fantastic. There is the first kill, and I think the red team is about to get absolutely cleaned up. That's a double kill for Xin Zhao. Can they find anything more? Cho'Gath does get one on the back. Could get 2, as Galio's in a lot of trouble. The Frozen Thrall absolutely destroyed him. So this Cho'Gath has really taken the teeth out of any push that could come on the backside, as she finally goes down. Can they get this tower? They don't. There's got no wave.
Yep. As soon as we praise red team for execution, we see the Aurelia with the ultimate on to 5 members. There were 5 members that if she got that ultimate off, she would have been such a menace in the backline. But unfortunately, does not do that. And the moment, even though she got the stun, that was far too late for
it to do anything. That's a big one. They were going for their resets, but actually got the tower. I'm surprised 2 of them back off there. Suppose they're a bit afraid of the counter push, which is a valid fear. Yep. Towers evened up. It's a fairly close game.
Yeah, let's take a step back though. One point I want to bring across is that even though we did praise, well, not praise, we did point out that blue team have a very good engage composition.
Oh, there's an engage. Speaking of which, I hate to cut you off, but there's a lot of damage being done. The Galio taunt won't last quite long enough to get onto Lysandra. And Xin Zhao desperately wants the kill, but perhaps overestimated herself just a little bit, as they do get found. Fizz going into the backline. They're just come on, guys. It's not 1v5. You can kill other people. Like, the Lysandra's important, but not that important. That was very bad out of the blue team. I'm afraid there's really no other way to put it. And they're going to lose an in-him for it.
Yep. In the previous game, we did see blue team do basically the same thing. Or they're going to continue pushing right now.
Yeah, I think this is just going for resets. A lot of damage, but if they get the kills, they could absolutely just end the game. I don't think they quite will. The health bars are a little bit too high here for the blue team, as Reverie does clean up the Aurelia, and the rest of them will be cut down. And what do you know? Lysandra was the last one to die, as finally the ace comes in. But they're too far away to take any structures.
Yep, there's not much of window here. Just have to continue wave clearing, and hopefully the next fight goes in their favor. Okay. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that initial engage coming in from blue team was. 2 games in a row now, we've seen blue team basically throw themselves at the wall, and that's basically what just happened in that fight.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened. This is a little bit rough now for the blue team. They are an inhib down, which of course means the waves will naturally push towards them, as well as the fact that in general they've had the worst wave control regardless. It has been the Nasus and the Cho'Gath being able to clear waves out very well, of course, as well as the Lysandra.
Yeah, and the point I wanted to bring across before that fight engaged is that red team is now starting to become tankier. And if blue team are unable to kill the red team on that initial engage, guess what? You've just surrounded yourself with the entire red team. So once this red team gets going with the health bars, this is very difficult for blue team to find an appropriate window in order to get a favorable fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like this positioning here. Lysandra standing a little bit split to the rest of the team to kind of say, you either have to use your engage on me or the rest of my team. You can't get both. And it's a Lysandra. They use the engage on her. Just press R on yourself. Cool. I'll just go into my block of ice. I'll be very happy.
All right, we are going to continue seeing this push for a while, I think, unless blue team go for the engage. Right now, slow and steady seems to be the name of the game. Red team, they can afford to continue doing this. Just continue clearing the wave, continue poking out the blue team right now, and I think they're just a little bit afraid if they go for the final engage. If it was sufficiently delayed long enough, the inhibitor might just respawn once again.
Oh no, it couldn't happen 3 times in 2 games. Surely. That would be way too much, as the Yorick cage is good, but they're just threatening the engage as the red team. They're not pulling the trigger yet. They just want to rot these health bars away a little bit. Nami's healing just isn't enough to get people back up near full. Getting very tense.
Yeah, it's just who gets desperate now, who pulls the trigger. Red team has been very patient right now, and they continue. They have to
Oh,
continue
and there's the
doing that.
trigger, perhaps, as the flawless duet does land. This is definitely going to be the engage. Lissandra's gone flying forward. The ult's already been used, was used aggressively. The Lissandra has gone down, but the health bars for the red team, everyone's looking pretty healthy, honestly, on both sides. Rogue only going incredibly deep, but will find the kill onto the Nami. This is now, I think, the red team has won the team fight and should be able to follow that up with the game winners. Oh no, another very interesting Irelia ult, as Fizz actually getting a lot done, taking this Irelia on an absolute journey. Yorick's on the Nexus, we know, but let's just focus on this little journey for now.
Yeah.
As finally, Fizz has gone down. The Nexus is being hit. Yorick has a little cage. He just needs to hit the Nexus. Just hit the Nexus. Can he do enough? I don't think he can.
Nope.
They survive!
Not again!
Unreal! They're gonna survive, and we go back. Irelia goes down, and we've got more game to play.
Yep, I'll be real. Red team should just clean up now. With especially with the Irelia reset. If she hits the ultimate, she's gonna be doing a lot of damage. That's all I have to say.
Yep. I think so. That Irelia ult should be hitting. Unfortunately, it has missed.
Yeah. Way too many times. Blue team is continuing the engagement. Let's go.
And that they are, and they will be able to pick up the kill onto Rogue only in just a moment. The wave used, but the rest of the disengage from the blue side is good. This is a chance for them to charge forward and perhaps take another structure. As Vi goes forward, this Cho'Gath taking a lot of damage. He's a tanky boy, of course, but not quite tanky enough as the redemption coming in. A lot of healing. The health bars on both sides are looking very, very dodgy, but look at all that damage under the tower. Cho'Gath has gone down. Yorick getting hit by this Fizz, who has done so much before you go, having an absolute MVP performance in this game. She is playing fantastically. Flawless duet does not land. Do they want to keep this one going, or will it be the back off? I think it'll be the back off.
Yeah, before you go, doing a very good job being a distraction in the red team's backline, and that fight, not exactly sure what's going on. Especially with red team not exactly having full strength, with I think Irelia still in the base, so definitely should not have hand shook that fight. Should have just backed off. You still had the turret. You could have continued to defend back there. You don't have to take these risks and risk basically giving the blue team some sort of avenue back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have more waves being cleared back and forth.
Exciting. Exciting stuff. But yeah, it's good because blue team did manage to clear that chokehold that red team didn't have at the Nexus. Obviously, they didn't end the game, so that's definitely a plus.
Absolutely, it's more damage being thrown out. Inhib has respawned. Didn't save a Nexus this time, so really not pulling as much of its weight. And there's the engage, the Flash Vi engage. The Galio ult actually doesn't land onto anyone. And oh dear God, this might not be good for the blue team. They're taking a lot of damage. One of them has already gone down. The big Galio taunt comes in. And can this Lissandra find her way out? She can! This Lissandra lives, and this is going to be the end of the blue team. Before you go, the last one living has gone golden, but will be claimed. Oh, gets the Lissandra on the way out.
Wow.
Oh, just in there for the style. But it doesn't matter, as the game will go to the red team, and they overcome the incredible engage of the blue side to take the win. Very impressive stuff.
One thing I want to point out just before we go. Yeah. I think red team, one thing we didn't really talk about, red team did very well in baiting out the Vi engages, especially in the last few fights of that match. I believe you could recall the last fight. Definitely, they baited the Vi into going in, and they just backed off before anyone else could follow up. And I think that really was the reason why they managed to pick up that victory in the final hour.
I agree, for sure. It was a really good performance out of the red team there, going in with possibly the worst comp, but taking a fairly dominant victory.
Yeah.
Very impressive stuff. But we'll be back in a little bit to bring you more games. Don't go anywhere, guys. It's been a lot of fun so far. But we'll be back momentarily.